For most industries, generative AI is this incredible new tool. But if you're a lawyer or a compliance officer, it's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? On one hand, it promises to make your job so much more efficient. But on the other, just one careless prompt could literally dismantle an entire case. So how do you navigate this high-stakes minefield? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. And just so you know where all this is coming from, this explainer is drawn directly from Chapter 8 of a fantastic tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. It's basically a masterclass on AI prompting, specifically for the legal and compliance world. And that brings us to the fundamental question that, let's be honest, every single legal professional is wrestling with right now. Can the ironclad secrecy of attorney-client privilege actually survive in an age of AI that learns from every single word we feed it? This tension creates what the source material calls the legal AI paradox. AI presents this massive opportunity to streamline all kinds of legal work, but if you use it the wrong way, you threaten the very foundation of legal confidentiality. And believe me, the consequences of getting this wrong are severe. We are not talking about small mistakes here. A single misstep could lead to waiving attorney-client privilege, it could trigger regulatory violations, or even land you in a malpractice lawsuit. The stakes are absolutely career-defining. So, okay, given those massive risks, how can you possibly use these powerful tools safely? Well, it all boils down to one paramount principle, a mindset that has to guide every single interaction you have with an AI. And here it is. This is the golden rule. Treat every prompt as potentially discoverable. Now, if you're not in the legal world, discoverable basically means it could one day be read out loud in a courtroom. The rule is just this simple. If you wouldn't want a judge or an opposing counsel to see it, do not type it into an AI, period. The whole point of this rule is to protect the absolute bedrock of legal ethics, attorney-client privilege. The second you share confidential client information with a third party, and make no mistake, a public AI is a third party, you risk shattering that privilege, maybe forever. All right, so we've got our golden rule. But what does safe prompting actually look like in practice? The source lays out a really clear three-stage progression that takes you from simple, safe templates all the way to sophisticated strategic frameworks. The journey starts with creating safe, reusable templates. From there, you move on to building abstract frameworks using hypotheticals. And finally, you can get to a point where you're leveraging AI to design entire strategic systems for your work. So let's dive into each stage. Okay, at the beginner level, the goal is to create assets, not answers. You're not asking the AI about a specific active case. No. Instead, you're telling it to build a tool for you, like a template or a checklist, that you can then use securely offline for any number of cases down the road. For example, you could ask an AI to create a due diligence checklist template for a corporate transaction, or draft a template for a standard confidentiality clause. Do you see how these prompts are completely generic? There's zero client information, no case details, no confidential strategy. They are 100% safe. Now, once you're comfortable with templates, you can level up to the intermediate stage. This is all about the power of abstraction. You take a real-world legal problem, you strip out every single client name, every date, every specific detail, and you present it to the AI as a purely hypothetical scenario. Here is the perfect example. A risky prompt is super specific. What are the risks in this clause from vendor X's contract? You see? You've just disclosed confidential info. A safe prompt is abstract. Create a framework for reviewing any vendor's service agreement. The first one is asking for an answer. The second one is building a reusable method. That difference is everything. And finally, at the advanced level, you graduate from single tasks to systems-level thinking. This is where you use AI as a true strategic partner to design the entire operational architecture for how your legal work actually gets done. Let's take this example from the source, designing a full contract lifecycle management system. You'd ask the AI to map out the entire process, from intake and drafting all the way to negotiation and monitoring. Notice what you're doing? You are not feeding it a single sensitive contract. You're using it to architect the entire factory. So we've covered the whole progression, from beginner to advanced. Now let's just boil all of this down into a final, non-negotiable safety checklist that you can start using immediately. These are the unbreakable rules. Never, ever include privileged information. Never reference actual clients or cases. And maybe most importantly, always remember that AI output is not legal advice. It's a powerful starting point, for sure, but it is never, ever a substitute for your own professional judgment. When you follow this strategic approach, it leads you to a really powerful conclusion that completely reframes the role of AI in the entire legal profession. And this brings us to the final, crucial question. Is AI here to do the legal work for us, or is it here to help us think about the work better? Based on this safe and strategic approach, the answer is crystal clear. For the smartest legal professionals, AI isn't a replacement for their expertise. It's a tool to build better systems, draft sharper frameworks, and ultimately, to elevate their own legal thinking. And that is the real revolution.